Hey everyone, so I was on a mission to find a wine fridge that wouldn't break the bank but still actually worked. I mean, we've all been there. You spend your hard-earned cash on a wine fridge, only to have it fail to keep the temperature steady. You set it to 50 degrees, and the next thing you know, it's 60 degrees, and your reds are basically room temp. It's frustrating, to say the least. So, I kept digging, and after trying out a few different options, I found the Whynter BWR-1002SD. And honestly, it's been the first one that didn't make me want to return it within a week. If you want to check out the product details on Amazon, the link is in the description. The first thing that really stood out to me about this wine fridge was the compressor. Most of the mini fridges I've owned in the past use that tiny thermoelectric chip that just can't handle a warm kitchen. But this one has a real compressor, just like your kitchen fridge. It actually pulls heat out instead of just moving it around, so even when it's 80 degrees in my apartment, the bottles stay right at 55 degrees. I've had it running for 3 months straight now, and the temperature hasn't drifted more than a degree. That kind of consistency is exactly what you need when you're storing wine, especially if you're like me and you like to age your bottles. In terms of capacity, it's listed for 100 bottles, but I've currently got 90 bottles in there, with the display shelf still empty. The shelves themselves are really well designed. They're flat, wooden-faced slides that pull all the way out, so grabbing a bottle from the back isn't a puzzle. They're also removable, which is handy if I ever want to switch to larger format bottles or just clean underneath. The display shelf on top holds 3 open bottles upright, so I can keep a half-finished Cabernet ready to go without it sitting on the counter. It's little touches like that which really make this wine fridge stand out from the competition. One of the things that I was really impressed by was the temperature range. It goes from 40 degrees Fahrenheit to 65 degrees Fahrenheit, which covers everything from chilling a crisp white to aging a bold red. I keep my Chardonnay around 48 degrees Fahrenheit and my Cab at 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and both stay consistent. It's amazing to be able to customize the temperature to the specific type of wine you're storing. And, of course, there's also a cylinder lock with 2 keys, which is great if you've got kids or roommates who think they can borrow your last bottle of Bordeaux. I mean, let's be real, we've all had that happen at some point, right? The interior light strip is also really well designed. It's bright enough to see the labels, but not so harsh that it'll fade the labels over time. I've had experience with other wine fridges where the light was just too intense, and it ended up damaging the labels. But this one is perfect. It provides just the right amount of light to make it easy to read the labels, without causing any damage. And, as an added bonus, the black stainless finish looks a lot more expensive than the price tag suggests. Plus, the fingerprint-resistant coating means I'm not constantly wiping smudges, which is a nice touch. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, isn't a wine fridge just going to be a noisy appliance that's going to disrupt my kitchen? But, honestly, this thing is quieter than my old dorm fridge from 2008. I can hear a faint hum when I'm standing right in front of it, but once I'm in the next room, it's basically silent. That's a huge plus, especially if you're like me and you like to entertain at home. You don't want some noisy appliance disrupting the vibe, right? Installation was also really straightforward. Since it's freestanding, I just rolled it into the corner and plugged it in. If you want to build it in later, the dimensions are listed, so you can plan the cabinet cutout ahead of time. It's about 23 inches wide, so it fits in most kitchen gaps without looking like a giant appliance. I was a bit worried that it would stick out like a sore thumb, but it actually fits in really nicely with the rest of my kitchen. Now, I know that nothing's perfect, and this wine fridge is no exception. All in all, for the price, this fridge really punches above its weight. It keeps the temperature rock solid, holds a ton of bottles, and looks way more premium than it should. If you've been burned by cheap wine fridges before, this one's worth the upgrade. It's not perfect, but it's a solid choice for anyone who's serious about storing their wine. And, if you're like me and you're passionate about wine, you know how important it is to have a good wine fridge. So, if you're in the market for a new wine fridge, I highly recommend checking this one out. Check the link below if you want to see the current price and read the latest reviews.